Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. The federal government is affirming its support for the unity and territorial integrity of the nation of Cameroon, and also vowing not to allow anyone use Nigeria as a launch pad to destabilize a friendly country. The National Security Advisor, retired Major General Babagana Munguno, is reassuring participants at the 6th session of the Cameroon-Nigeria Transborder Security Committee in Abuja that Nigeria will intensify the exchange of intelligence and military collaboration to counter any threat around the borders of Nigeria and Cameroon. General Munguno, however, appealed to the Cameroonian authorities to engage all aggrieved parties in order to de-escalate tension in the Anglophone regions of the country.
Transborder Security Committee meeting.
It is a gathering of officials from Nigeria and Cameroon to discuss security challenges at the 6th session of the Cameroon-Nigeria Transborder Security Meeting in Abuja. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs kickstarts the meeting with a word of commitment from the Nigerian government.
This collaboration has resonated in the decimation of the threat posed by the Boko Haram terrorist group in recent years. Although there are still some challenges to overcome in the northeastern region of Nigeria, the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, is committed to the restoration of constitutional order in the affected areas. Moreover, the recent challenges in the Anglophone-speaking region of Cameroon has unsettling but a strain on the peace, security and economic prosperity of the people in the region and deserve a careful resolution.
The head of the Cameroonian delegation and Minister of Territorial Administration and Decentralization advocates a strong cooperation to curb the menace of transborder security threats.
We must not lose sight of the fact that the path towards total and complete security along our common border is still full of obstacles. As a matter of fact, new security challenges show up every day and require more diligence on our part.
For aggrieved Cameroon citizens in Nigeria, the National Security Advisor warns against the use of Nigeria as a breeding ground to destabilize another country.
It is critical for me to re-emphasize that His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, assures you that we will take all necessary measures within the ambit of the law to ensure that Nigeria's territory is not used as a staging area to destabilize another friendly sovereign country. This is because we expect people who visit or reside in this country to play by our rules in the interests of peace and security.
The two-day meeting, which continues behind closed doors, is expected to examine issues of transborder security challenges between both countries, in addition to building on the successes so far recorded in the actualization of peace and security.
The federal government is making efforts to decongest the nation's prisons, which it believes are now crowded and stretched beyond breaking point. The Stakeholders Committee on the Decongestion of Prisons, while on a visit to River State, explains the President's directive to Governor Nyesom Wike and the need to make it a reality. Governor Wike, on his part, explains that his government had already made moves to decongest Port Harcourt prisons, with a view to dealing with what he described as a pathetic situation. The Decongestion Committee is headed by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Justice Abubakar Alami.
To the advice of Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, I also, in October last year, tried to release some inmates and also try to pay fines for the indigent ones who were little fines of sometimes 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. So we have already taken steps in decongesting our prisons. I believe that the Attorney General will hand over to you some of these processes that have taken place and then some of the official gazettes to show that we have already taken a step.
The situation is indeed very alarming against the background of the fact that more than 70% of the prison inmates are indeed awaiting trials. Arriving from these concerns, Your Excellency, His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, had indeed communicated his concerns to the states across the nation, expressing a desire for collaborative action with a view to look into possibility of working together.
Now that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Ladi.
Thank you very much, Gloria. The traditional institution is a veritable tool for fostering national and social integration, and that is the view of the Emir Okori Eleme of Eleme Kingdom in Eleme local government area of River State, His Royal Highness Apollos Chu. He mentioned this during the visit of some traditional rulers from parts of the country to his palace.
The 9th General Assembly of the National Council of Traditional Rulers that held recently in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, may be over, but the issues of fostering national unity that took center stage at the gathering continue to reverberate across different fora. And that sense draws traditional rulers to the home and palace of the paramount ruler of Okori Eleme of Eleme Kingdom. The monarchs are also here to show solidarity in the spirit of goodwill.
Well, our presence here shows the popularity he has within our ranks. Our presence here shows the amount of respect we have for him.
He has touched all parts of the north in this room, which is a fantastic thing to do. He's a friend of all of us, and this relationship, we pray the Almighty will help us in developing this country.
We have enjoyed our staying, especially with the company of the royal fathers in this state. And if that should be continued, Nigeria will not have any problem.
For the host, this meeting is a step in the right direction.
What we are here is to build bridges among ourselves. Despite how small it is, we are starting from somewhere. It's as good that after the ceremony, after the meetings of the 9th Assembly of the Traditional Council, one can just zoom off to his various destinations. But if you find it fit, we have a friend and we have a colleague, that this journey will not be completed if you could not visit one of your own.
As the event goes far into the night, the monarchs leave with the resolve to continue to share the spirit of friendship and unity.
Time now for the business news of the day. Here is Amana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Hello and welcome to Business News. Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company today announced that the production of Nigeria's Bonga crude oil is gradually increasing after suffering a brief shutdown. A statement from SNEPCO hints that the company performed a brief shutdown of the oil field from January the 16th through to 28th for repairs on the piping system. Traders say the maintenance and impacted oil loadings. A list of vessel loadings indicates that the last cargo to load was the Suezmax Sea Garnet on January the 17th. Nigeria's Bonga oil field has a capacity to produce 225,000 barrels per day of oil at 150 million standard cubic feet. The floating production, storage and offloading in Nigeria has the potential to generate significant activities for local contractors in various sectors, as well as provide an avenue for training and development. And that's according to the Managing Director of the Lagos Deep Offshore Logistics Base, Mrs. Amy Jade Simi, during her interview on Channels Television's Business Morning program.
The arrival of the FPSO is a huge testament to the success of ease of doing business. And I don't say that lightly. Ladol has not always had the friendliest relationship with government. And what I think this government has done is not specifically help Ladol. What they've done is create a space, breathing room, if you like, for the private sector, particularly the indigenous private sector, to be able to get on with our work. And by doing that, they're enabling us to create successes like the Agena FPSO berthing at Ladol Free Zone. At the same time, we still need to do more. I think having breathing room is fine, and we'll be able to get a certain way down towards success because of that breathing room. But now we need them to come back and maybe create accountability. So for those in government and those in private sector who are thwarting ease of doing business, there needs to be accountability so that we don't go backwards.
And the Nigerian Export-Import Bank has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Development Bank of Central African States to explore partnership opportunities. The agreement was made after representatives of both institutions met to discuss areas of collaboration between the two organizations towards promoting regional trade and investment. The partnership is expected to leverage on opportunities in the areas of technical assistance, capacity building, and information exchange. It will also foster a mutually beneficial relationship by strengthening economic and trade cooperation between Nigeria and the Economic and Monetary Union of Central Africa. Another local equities market, trading, ended with profit-taking by short-term investors in the industrial goods and oil and gas sectors. For more details on what the stocks had to show today, let's join Chimezie Obiwago.
Thank you for joining us on Stock Market Report. Nigeria equities market followed the trend of its global counterparts to finish in the red as most of the markets react to the stronger than expected U.S. jobs report on Friday. The report highlights that wages had risen by 2.9% on an annualized basis. Consequently, the news dampened sentiments across markets worldwide. The all-share index closed down 0.85% after losing about 1.32% in the course of trading. Dangote Cement earlier dampened the mood further with an initial loss of 12 naira before moderating to 8 naira. In all of these, traders say there is no reason for any anxiety, as this is typical of a Monday, except in an unusual trading. 3 out of the major indices lost, but interestingly, the big banks are making a comeback, as in the case of Zenith and GT Bank. The earnings season starts this week, as 1 or 2 results are expected to come in. With all things being equal, traders expect a positive outcome on Tuesday. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimezie Obiwago. Back to you now, Imana.
Thank you, Chimezie. In the meantime, continued sell-offs by global investors hammered major stock markets across the globe, particularly Wall Street. The Dow Jones plunged deeper by more than 1,000 points after Friday's strong jobs report pushed interest rates higher. Let's see the numbers. That's it on Business News. I'm Emana Amawe. It's back to Ladi.
You first. First Bank.
Still ahead on the news at 10, IOC President Thomas Bach praises North and South Korea's Olympic spirit as both countries prepare for the 2018 Winter Games. That's on Sports News. Please stay on with us.